Hello, my name is Catherine, and today we are going to do strategies to integrate ebook into your content area. Our presentation is divided into 3 parts. I will start, and then we have Coquette Petrella, and then Verlita Taylor that will close the presentation. My section of the presentation is about Sora, which is a library of ebooks that all our staff and students have access to. I'm going to show you how to access it and how to borrow a book. So to start, we are going to go to our county webpage. From here, we're going to click Students and Library Catalog, which brings us to the page with all of our databases. We're going to click Sora. The first time you log in, you might get to see this page, or you might even get to see this page. You're going to click Find My School. If your school is not listed, which it isn't, you will click My School Isn't Listed, and you will type in Prince George's County Schools. This is my school. Everyone in the county has to do this. Sign in using Prince George's County Schools, and you will use your county credentials. From here, you are logged in. You will notice there are 4 buttons in the menu here. First is the home button, which is where a book would be listed if a teacher has assigned a book to you. You have your current loans. Then you have the Explore button. The Explore button is where you would go to browse to find a book, or where you would also search for a book. Notice that I am logged in as a teacher, so as I am an adult, I am seeing an adult selection, as well as I can go all the way down to the young children. Our elementary school students, when they will log in, they will only get to see elementary school level books. Middle school, we'll see elementary and middle, and high school, everything. Then we have the Shelf button. This is where your loans are listed. And at the top here, you will see there's our holds as well. I don't have any holds. Lists and the history of books that I have read. So one of the biggest advantage of Sora is that you can go and add other libraries. So I'm going to go to the hamburger menu on the right and click here. You'll notice right here, I have my profile. I can click on this to quickly change my name if I don't like Catherine here. And I can also change the little logo. So what I can do is I can click Add a Library. So I'm going to add Prince George's Memorial Library System, which is our public libraries. Again, I'm an adult, so I do get to see adult books. Our elementary students will only get to see elementary school level books at the public library. So how do we check them out? I'm going to go back to home, and I'm going to also go back to our school system, and I'm going to select a book to check out. So let's do Forgotten Bones here. I'm going to click this one. And remember, this is the PGCPS selection. So I'm going to click Borrow. And as I am logged in already, the book is automatically checked out to me. So here's the book. To change page, all I need to do is click to the side. If I want the menu bar to come back up, I just click towards the middle. You can zoom. You can change the view to put it to 1 page or 2 pages. You can search, you can bookmark, and certain books have also different settings as well as the dyslexic font as well. But obviously not all the book because this one does not have it. So I want to exit this book. I'm going to close it. So it's borrowed. So now if I go to my shelf, you will see that book is under loans, I'm sorry, is listed. Going back to Explorer, I'm going to, instead of browsing this time, I'm going to search. So I'm going to search and what it does is, Sora does, it looks into all of the libraries that I have added on my menu here, and I have many of them, so that's why you're seeing many. But here's the public schools, and I scroll down and I have the front range. The Maryland Digital Library is also available for all of our students if you just get a virtual library card. And here's the public library that has it right here, and another Wisconsin public library that I'm part of. But what I want to show you, I'm going to go to just the Prince George's. So if our students decide to check out a book from the public library this time, they will click on their selection, just like if it was public school, click borrow. And what happens the first time, only the first time, you will need to put in their student public school card number. So they will be putting PGCPS and their full student number, their 9-digit student number. And the PIN that's required right here is the last digit of their student number. So when that's done, they will be logged in and they can click borrow, and they'll be able to be checking out a book from the public library. They will only need to do this the first time. After the information's been stored, they can check out a book from the public library or from the public schools, and it'll be seamless. Another great tool that Sora has is it has a great app. So I'm going to show you this. So you are now seeing my phone. Under the App Store, you will search Sora. You will download it, open, and here you need to do the exact same setup that you have done on your computer. So find my school. My school isn't listed. So I'm going to type in Prince George's. This is my school. I will need to log in. And from here, Sora, my account from Sora is loaded on my phone, and I can listen to books or read books. I can also explore. I can go to my shelf, and I can go to my achievement as well. So the app and the web browser are compatible. Anything you do on your phone will be transmitted to your web page and vice versa as well. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. My name is Catherine Francoeur, and I work at the Professional Library. Thank you.
Welcome. Today's webinar, I will be guiding you on how to create a book trailer. A book trailer is a great way to engage students after reading a book. The first thing that you're going to do is select an ebook in Sora. So at this time, log into destiny.pgcps.org, and you will see Sora at the bottom of the database, and click on to Sora. Once you've clicked on to Sora, this is where students will have access to ebooks. They will borrow the book of their choice. I am going to select I'm Worried. I've already borrowed it. I will open the book. Once you open the book, the students will actually read the book. After they've read the book, you will have students log into Clever. Once they've logged into Clever, they will click on to Storyboard That. In Storyboard That, students will create their frames for their book trailer. So you would click on create storyboard. And once they've created the storyboard, this is one that I've already started working on. I'm just going to walk you through. So in storyboard, you have your frames here. You can always add frames at the bottom. You see where you can add or delete the cells. You can move them around and you can have the layouts here. So at the top you see here, you have the scenes, characters, textables, etc., etc. So you see there are different scenes, and I'm just going to select a scene and I'm going to drag it to the box, to one of the frames. You can change the colors. You can change the color of the sky, the building. So here, I'm just gonna leave that because I'm okay with it. Then I'm gonna hit characters, and then I'm going to select a character. And you can change the color of the hair, the complexion, okay, eyes. I'm going to click on a textable. You can edit. You have different colors. You can change the color of the font. You have the different font sizes over here. Okay, I'm just going to type in there. Okay, if you decide that you don't want something in there, is an X here. You can click on this and you can delete it. Okay, so I'm just going to put that back. I'm going to go back to the different scenes and I will grab another one and put in the box. I'll go to characters. I'll add a character here. Change the hair color. Okay. And so once the students have decided on how they would like their frames to look in the storyboard, then you will have the students to log on to Google Slides. And in Google Slides, they will create their slides. And so what I've done here is I've copied and pasted these slides from Storyboard, and I'm going to show you. Let me go back here. Once you've completed the slides, I forgot to say that you want to save it. You want to save the work that you've done. Okay. And I'm going to save and exit. And then I'm going now to pull up a previous one about the story, I'm Worried. And here are the 3 slides that I've created. And so I copied and pasted, or you can do a screenshot of each of those. And then I went to Google Slides, and what I did was paste them, or copied or drag and drop the slides into the pictures into the images into each slide. And once they've completed that, you will hit where it says present, and you can present it. I have chosen to put music behind the slides. And so now that they've created the book trailer in Google Slides, you can have them go to Screencastify. So I'm going to click on the icon here, and I've already recorded it. So I'm going to go to my recordings, and here it is right here. And so I put some music behind it as I was presenting it in Google Slides, and then I recorded it in Screencastify. And I'm going to quickly play it. Okay, and so once you have recorded, the students have recorded the book trailer in Screencastify, the students will then have, an opportunity to forward you their completed project using Google Classroom. And so all of the features to upload it, they'll appear off to the right-hand side when you have completed it. And so at this time, I would like to thank you all for joining this webinar. Take some time and complete the survey. And also, I have included an assignment of descriptions for the steps the students would take in creating their book trailer. So thank you again, and please fill out the survey.
Hello, my name is Berlita Taylor, and I work with the Office of Library Media Services. Today, I would like to show you how to set up your library using Book Creator for the Write a Book program. The first thing you will need to do is go to Destiny, or however you log into Clever. I go through Destiny, so I'm going to click on Clever. Once you're in Clever, you're going to find Book Creator. For me, I save Book Creator in my favorites, so it's at the top. But if this is your first time going into Book Creator, you will have to scroll down, all the way down near the bottom, and it's under Engagement Tools. You're going to click on Book Creator. Once you're in Book Creator, you're going to sign in, and you're going to sign in as a teacher. So you'll see the teacher dashboard. In the teacher dashboard, you're going to have different libraries. You're going to have your private library. You're going to have library with the books that your students are going to share with you for Write a Book. And then however you set up other libraries, if you decide to do other libraries in there as well. But today we're going to talk about setting up your library using Book Creator for Write a Book. So I'm going to click on libraries, and these are books that I already have with my students, I'm sorry, not my students, but with participants. So in this library, you're going to want to click on your settings. Once you're there, you're going to click on your settings, and you're going to make sure the only things that are checked are students can edit their own books and students can enable collaboration. Once you're done with that, you close that, and then you notice it says show invite code for others to join. You're going to click on this invite code. It's going to generate a code. So here's the code. This is the code that you're going to give your students. So once you give your students this code, and not this exact code, it's going to generate its own code for you, for your library. This code would be for my library. So with this code, you're going to give it to your students, and they're going to begin to work on their books in Book Creator. When you're doing Write a Book, remember books can be done individually, one student, or you can have a group of students, which would be 2 to 5, or you can have a class produced book, which would be 6 or more students. Please keep in mind that class produced books are for elementary level only, and that's for grades pre-K through 5, and it's only for specific books. For specific categories, I'm sorry, and that would be picture storybook. You can have a class produced book. Poetry, class produce, nonfiction, class produce, and that is it. Illustrated fiction, you can only do with group or individual. Now, if at any time your students are not doing what they're supposed to do, or they've given this code to someone outside of your school or outside of the Prince George's County Public Schools, then you can expire this code, which means nobody will be able to go back in and work on any books in there. Okay, and to expire the code, all you would do is hit expire this code. Okay, so now one thing that you need to know, when you're creating your books for Write a Book, you must have a cover. On the outside cover, there must be the title, and in the lower left-hand corner, you must have the type of book it is. For example, this is a picture story book. You must have whether it's individual, group, or class produced, the student's grade level, the school, and the author and illustrator, okay? And it's in that order. So you have the category, the type, the grade level, your school, and the students who wrote the book and who illustrated the book. If it's the same person, you only need to write their name once. If it's more than one person, for each person that participated in a book, for group books, you need to write their name. If it's a class produced book, you don't need to write every student's name. You just need to write the teacher's name. Or you'll title your students, whatever you want to call them. So you may say, Mrs. Smith's 5th grade poetry students. And those are the authors of your book, okay? So the next thing we want to do, so what you will do, if you have students that are working in a group, so for example, on this food and nutrition book, if I have 2 or more students that want to work, that are working on this book, and they need to work together simultaneously, you're going to go to the share button, and you're going to click share. Then you're going to click collaborate. Make sure you change it from everyone in the library to just the students that are going to collaborate on this book. So for this one, I'm going to use Barbara Pitkin and Catherine Francoeur to collaborate on a book. Once you click all of the students that are working on this one book, you click done. And you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner appears the little collaboration icon. So if you want to know who's working on what page in that book, if you want to make sure that those are the 2 students that are working on a book, or say you don't remember who's working on a book, you click that little icon and it tells you exactly who has editing rights, which means they're working on a book. So it shows me Barbara Pitkin, Catherine Francoeur, and myself, because this is my library. So if at any time you need to change, you need to add, or you need to remove someone, you can just click change and you go and you can add and remove. If at any time your students decide that they no longer want to do the write a book, or if they're not working the way that they should be working, for whatever reason it is, you can just stop collaboration and they will no longer be able to work on that book. So now I'm going to click the new book icon. So new book actually gives you your book templates. They're empty books, but they're shown here as a portrait, a square, or a landscape. So however you decide that you want your book to be read, that is how it'll be, how you want it set up, excuse me. Down at the bottom, notice it says portrait, square, landscape again, but they've also had the word comic. This is for our students who want to do graphic fiction. Keep in mind, graphic fiction is only available for students in grades 6 through 12. Graphic fiction books have to be done just like comic strip style books in that format. So I'm going to click on one of our books. I'm going to click on the square comic. This would be our cover, and remember, you decorate and design your cover however you want to do it. Remember the information that needs to be located in the lower left-hand corner. So if all that information is there, I'm ready to start my inside, my text in my book. So you're going to click the arrow, open your book. You're going to first, because it's on comics, you're going to first click the panels that you want to use. So they have all different types of templates with the panels that you want to have. So you decide how you want your comic book set up. So for this particular book, I think I want to have my panel set up like this. So here you go. You have your first panel and you begin to type. In order to type, you're going to click the plus sign again, and you're going to go to text. There's different text styles that you can use. You can use the caption, you can use title, you can use the boom, or you can just do your text, and you will begin to write here. Click done, and it appears here. You can change the font, you can change the color, you can change the style, you can change the size. So in order to do that, what I did was I right-clicked and I click edit if I want to add or change something in that sentence. If I want to, I'm going to right-click again, change, you click format. This gives you where you change the text size, where you can change the color, where you can change the font, you can change the background, you can change shadow, you can move it up, move it back, underline, bold, italics, whatever you need to do to it. I suggest that you keep your font size at 18 to 20. This goes along with the rules where it says fonts should be no larger than 12 to 14, because the font size in Book Creator is different from the font size in Windows and Google Docs. So keep in mind, if you have students that are writing short stories, that are doing nonfiction or illustrated fiction or picture storybooks or even poetry, and they type their work in Google Docs or they type it in Microsoft Word, that when they come to import it here in Book Creator, they're going to have to change the size. If you want to add text bubbles, a speech bubble, if you want to add text bubbles, you have that. Speech bubbles, you have that ability to do that as well. And you can even type inside the bubble. You can do that as well. There's stickers that you can add in your book. Okay. Now, you can also change your backgrounds. So this would be the backgrounds of your book. Just click on whatever it is that you want to change it to. There are all types of backgrounds that you can do. It shows you the recent backgrounds that you use. They're different colors. You can go and pick your colors. If you just want a solid background, you pick a solid color. You can change the paper that you're writing on. You can make it look like notebook paper in the background. There are a lot of things that you have. You have borders. You can change your borders. So it's not just your background, it's your borders you can change. You have your patterns and your textures, and I just suggest that you play around with it until you find something that you really like, that stands out to you and that you want to use. There are different shapes. You can put shapes in there and create something on your own. You can use these shapes. So if I wanted to create say for example, I wanted to create whatever, anything. Whatever you decide that you want to create with your using the shapes, you can do that. Again, here you have your text, your speech bubbles, you have your text bubbles, you have arrows that you can use to show direction in your story, whatever the case may be. All of these are at your fingertips, you can use, okay? You also can use your camera. You also can use your camera from your computer and take a picture, or you can record your video. So I'm going to just take a picture. I'm going to say use my picture. And I'm going to put my picture. I'm going to take my picture and I'm going to cut my picture and I'm going to put it here. And you just move it, and there you go. You have it there. Okay, so you also, that's the camera from my computer. So they also can do that. You can also, if you notice, you can also record. You can take a picture. So if a student is doing a nonfiction book and they're interviewing someone, you can record your video that you're interviewing that person and put it in there, depending upon what it is that you're interviewing. If, for example, we have some culinary arts students who are participating in Write a Book this year for the first time, shout out to Oxon Hill, you can add into your book a demonstration. So if you have a demonstration of you're interviewing, say you're interviewing a chef and they make a meal, you can add that into your book by recording them making a meal and putting it in there and putting it into your book. You can use the pen and draw with the pen if you're good with that. That is not something I'm good with, so I would not use that. You can also record, have voiceovers, so you can actually read your book, have your book read by a computer generated voice, which is male or female, or you can actually have your voice and read your book. So I'm going to go back to one of my books and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about with reading your story. So I'm going to click the triangle and it says read to me, and it's going to read it to me.
The true story about Spider the Man.
Was that a spider I just saw scurry across the floor?
And if you notice, the voice has changed. The first voice was the computer generated voice. The second voice that you heard was my voice actually reading the book. So you have those options to do that as well. I can also, at any time, I can go back and edit my book. You can go and you can stop. Excuse me. You can go back and you can stop students from being able to work on your book. So whenever your deadline is for your books to be turned into you, you can stop sharing that code again. That would be a time that you would stop sharing that code and they won't be able to go back in and do any more edits to their books. If you have any questions, I can be reached at verlita.taylor@pgcps.org, and that's V as in victory, ERLETA.Taylor, TAYLOR, @pgcps.org. Thank you, and I look forward to reading all of your books.